All right, so today we're diving into a career that's all about new beginnings. And I'm not just talking about like starting a new job or anything like that.
Right.
We're talking about new beginnings, like brand new people.
Yeah.
We're tackling maternity support workers today, and we want to tell you guys everything you want to know about being a maternity support worker,
Yes.
what they do, what skills you need to be successful as one, what the career path looks like, even the challenges that come with this career.
Of course.
And to guide our deep dive today, we're using RoleCatcher's Career Guide and all the platform features that they have that can help with this.
It is interesting that you use the phrase new beginnings
Yeah.
because this role really is about that.
Yeah,
It's about supporting families as they navigate, this incredible journey of welcoming a newborn into their lives.
totally.
And it's not always sunshine and rainbows and, happy, cuddly moments.
Right.
Maternity support workers are there for the raw and the emotional and sometimes messy realities of bringing new life into the world.
Okay, so not for the faint of heart.
Exactly.
Got it. But before we get into all of that, let's paint a picture for our listener a little bit.
Yeah.
What exactly does a maternity support worker do?
So imagine being that source of calm and knowledge
Okay.
for families during, that whirlwind of pregnancy and labor and those really early days with a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
You're assisting midwives.
Okay.
You are providing comfort and guidance to new mothers.
Right.
You're even teaching them things like breastfeeding techniques or how to care for a newborn.
Wow.
It's a very hands-on role that requires a really special blend of medical knowledge, but also genuine empathy.
Yeah, one of the things that really jumped out at me when I was looking at RoleCatcher's Guide was this projected job growth.
Yes.
They're saying it's going to increase by 12%
Yeah.
from now until 2028,
Wow.
which is huge.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so clearly this role is important and it's becoming more and more in demand.
It really highlights how vital this role is becoming in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Especially with this increasing focus on patient-centered care. And maternity support workers really provide that essential human touch.
Yeah.
They're there to offer emotional support and guidance during what can be an incredibly overwhelming time.
For sure.
They answer questions, they address concerns, and they really ensure that new mothers feel heard and supported.
Absolutely. So it's clear that this isn't just a job, it's a calling.
It is.
But what about the skills needed to thrive as a maternity support worker?
Okay.
What does RoleCatcher say are the must-haves?
So the guide emphasizes social perceptiveness as being absolutely crucial.
Okay.
Think of it as having almost like a sixth sense
Got it.
for being able to read and respond to people's emotions.
Okay.
When you're dealing with, individuals who are going through such a significant life change,
Yeah.
being able to pick up on those subtle cues and adjust your approach accordingly is invaluable.
That makes perfect sense. And that's not something you can really learn from a textbook.
Exactly. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you need to be like a pro at active listening, monitoring and thinking critically on your feet. Labor and delivery can be really unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to quickly assess situations and make those sound judgments
Right.
and adapt your approach based on these ever-changing dynamics is absolutely essential.
So it's about staying calm amidst all the chaos,
Yes.
being that reassuring presence for everyone involved.
Precisely. And let's not forget the actual knowledge base.
Right.
The guide highlights the importance of having a really solid understanding of medicine,
Okay.
which makes sense when you
Yeah.
think about it, but also dentistry and even psychology.
Okay, medicine I get, but dentistry, how does that play into this?
It's not just about checking for baby teeth.
Okay.
It's about understanding the link between oral health and overall well-being,
Right.
especially for newborns and new mothers.
Wow, I never would have even made that connection.
It's fascinating.
It just goes to show how interconnected different aspects of healthcare can be, especially when you're talking about something as, multifaceted as maternity care.
Yeah, exactly. And then psychology, of course,
Yeah.
is about understanding human behavior,
Right.
recognizing those emotional triggers that might be heightened during, such a significant life change.
Yeah.
And responding in a way that promotes a sense of calm and well-being.
So let's say somebody is listening to this right now and
Yeah.
they're thinking, okay, this sounds like me. How do I actually become a maternity support worker? What does RoleCatcher suggest?
So the guide offers a few different pathways you can take.
Okay.
Volunteering or working in related settings is a fantastic way to kind of dip your toes in the water.
Okay.
So think hospitals, birthing centers, maternity clinics.
That makes a lot of sense. Get that firsthand experience.
Exactly.
What about some other avenues?
Becoming a doula or a childbirth educator
Okay.
can also equip you with really relevant skills and experience that would translate well into this role.
It's all about building that foundation of trust and rapport,
Absolutely.
which seems to be so crucial in this profession.
And speaking of building a career, what's fascinating is that the guide really positions the maternity support worker role as a stepping stone to other opportunities within the field.
Oh, so there's room for growth.
A lot of room for growth.
Tell me more about these potential career paths.
So the guide highlights exciting opportunities to advance to roles like midwife,
Okay.
nurse practitioner, or even a combined nurse-midwife position.
Wow.
Of course, further education and certifications would be key to climbing that ladder.
Right. It sounds like a career path with a lot of potential for those who are willing to put in the work and keep learning. But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
What about the downsides? What kind of challenges do maternity support workers face?
So the guide doesn't shy away from the fact that this can be really emotionally demanding work,
Right.
especially when you're dealing with high-stress situations
Of
or
course.
potentially difficult outcomes.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of emotional resilience, I would imagine, and just empathy to navigate those complexities and be that source of support.
Yes, 100%. And we can't forget about the physical demands of the job.
Right, of course.
You're on your feet a lot, you're assisting patients,
Yeah.
and often working long and irregular hours.
So not a 9-to-5 desk job.
Not at all.
Got it.
You have to be flexible, adaptable, and ready for anything.
I love that perspective. And that's where RoleCatcher's resources beyond just the career guide
Yes.
come into play.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about what else they offer.
So their platform provides a ton of different tools
Okay.
to help you tailor your CV,
Okay.
practice for those nerve-wracking interview questions,
Yeah.
and even connect with potential employers.
Wow, that's amazing.
They have different service levels,
Okay.
even a free option, which is fantastic for those who are maybe just starting their exploration.
So it's not just about figuring out what a maternity support worker does,
Right.
but they're really giving you those practical tools and resources
Exactly.
to pursue that career path.
Yes.
I love that this has been so insightful already, but before we move on, can you remind our listener where they can learn more about RoleCatcher?
Absolutely. You can find them at RoleCatcher.com. They
Perfect.
have a wealth of resources on this career path and many others as well.
And one final thought for our listener before we move on.
Yeah.
Imagine being a part of that magical moment when a family welcomes a new life into the world.
Oh, yeah.
As a maternity support worker, you wouldn't just witness that moment. You would be an integral part of it.
That's very special.
So we've talked about like what it takes to be a maternity support worker,
Yeah.
but what does that growth actually look like?
Right.
How do you go from like newbie to seasoned pro?
So RoleCatcher lays out a pretty clear progression.
Okay.
You move from trainee to fully fledged maternity support worker, and then eventually you can reach that senior level.
Okay.
And each stage comes with, its own set of responsibilities and expertise.
Okay. Love a clear path. Let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
A maternity support worker trainee. What's going on in this phase?
So picture this.
Hmm.
You're fresh out of training.
Hmm.
You're eager to apply your knowledge.
Mhm.
And you're thrown right into the heart of it all.
Love it.
You're shadowing experienced professionals. You're assisting during births and, really getting your hands dirty, so to speak, with newborn care and patient education.
Right.
It's very much a learn by doing phase.
It's like a medical residency, but for maternity support.
Yeah,
You're
exciting.
putting all of that textbook knowledge into practice.
And RoleCatcher actually provides these really interesting, example profiles
Okay.
of individuals at different stages of their career.
Got it.
And for maternity support worker trainee, they highlight somebody who's incredibly eager to learn.
Okay.
They're passionate about supporting women through, the journey of pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
and really committed to continuous learning.
Uh-huh.
They even mention obtaining certifications like Basic Life Support, BLS,
Okay.
and Neonatal Resuscitation Program, NRP certification.
So they're not just waiting for opportunities to come their way. They're
Well-
actively seeking them out. And those certifications, I imagine, are essential, especially in a field where, every second counts.
Absolutely.
What I find really interesting is that even at the trainee level, communication and interpersonal skills are highlighted as being so crucial.
It makes sense when you think about it because building trust and rapport with patients
Yeah,
starts from that very first interaction.
right.
A friendly face, a
Mm.
listening ear, and clear communication
Yeah,
can make a world of difference
for sure.
for somebody who's navigating the unknowns of pregnancy and new motherhood.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So you've put in the hours, you've gained experience, you've honed your skills. What does it look like when a maternity support worker really hits their stride?
Yeah.
What sets them apart from that trainee level?
So that transition to a fully fledged maternity support worker
Hmm.
is all about increased autonomy and responsibility.
Okay.
You're working more independently now.
Right.
You're providing that direct support to expectant mothers.
Oh.
You're assisting during labor and delivery.
Yeah.
And you're really becoming a source of knowledge and reassurance
Yeah.
for those families.
So you're not just following instructions anymore.
Right.
You're taking initiative, you're making judgment calls, and you're really owning your role.
Exactly.
As part of that maternity care team, what does RoleCatcher's example profile say for this stage?
So they highlight someone who thrives on providing that essential care and support.
Okay.
It's not just assisting, but it's actively participating in ensuring the safety and the well-being
Right.
of both the mother and the baby during labor.
Hmm.
And they've also developed expertise in patient education.
Okay.
So empowering those new mothers with the knowledge and the confidence they need to care for their newborns.
It's about fostering a sense of partnership,
Yes.
making sure that new mothers feel heard and respected
Yeah,
and confident in their ability to do this.
exactly. And on top of that, meticulous record keeping becomes increasingly important at this stage
Huh.
because those accurate records ensure that there's continuity of care.
Yeah.
And it really provides a comprehensive history
I'm
of that mother's and that baby's, health journey.
It's like connecting the dots, making sure that everybody involved in that care is on the same page.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm ready for the top tier. Tell me everything about being a senior maternity support worker. What sets this role apart?
So think of it as like a natural progression of leadership.
Okay.
At this stage, you're not just a caregiver anymore.
Right.
You're a mentor.
Okay.
You're guiding and supporting a team of dedicated individuals.
Wow.
You're also taking on more responsibility for developing and implementing care plans
Okay.
in collaboration with midwives and other healthcare professionals.
So you're shaping the future of maternity care
Exactly.
by nurturing the skills of these new maternity support workers coming up,
Yes.
but also advocating for the best possible outcomes for your patients.
Yes, and what's really impressive is that senior maternity support workers often specialize
Yeah.
in providing more advanced support and guidance
Got it.
to women who might be facing more complex medical conditions
Okay.
or those who require special care during their pregnancies.
Wow. So that requires like a whole other level of expertise,
Absolutely.
compassion, and sensitivity.
And
as you stand.
you're talking about being a beacon of hope for these families
Yes.
who are navigating, challenging and often very emotionally charged circumstances.
100%.
RoleCatcher's example profile for this one must be pretty impressive.
So they describe someone with exceptional leadership skills
Yeah.
who really fosters this culture of excellence within their team,
Yeah.
making sure that every single woman receives that highest quality of care.
I love that.
This individual also emphasizes their collaborative approach,
Okay.
working very closely with other healthcare professionals to
Mm.
really develop those individualized care plans.
It's about recognizing that everyone has a vital role to play.
From that trainee who's just starting out to the seasoned midwife who's seen it all.
Exactly.
It's a team effort focused on ensuring the well-being of both the mother and baby.
And you know what I love about this example profile is that they mentioned holding certifications in fetal monitoring and ELSO,
Okay.
which is Advanced Life Support and Obstetrics,
Wow.
which shows their commitment to continuous learning.
That's amazing. They're not resting on their laurels.
Never stop learning.
They're constantly seeking out new knowledge and new skills to better serve their patients.
Yes.
I'm starting to see a theme here, like a passion for learning, a heart for service, and that unwavering commitment to providing exceptional care really seem to be the hallmarks of a truly remarkable maternity support worker.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But, amidst all this talk about career progression and specializations,
Yeah.
we can't overlook the emotional weight
Right.
that comes with this line of work.
Of course, yeah.
RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from that reality.
It's easy to get caught up in, like, the joy of new beginnings. But the reality is that maternity care can be an emotional roller coaster,
It can.
both for the families, but also for the professionals who are supporting them.
Of course, you're witnessing some of life's most precious and vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
The highs can be exhilarating.
Sure.
But the lows can be incredibly tough,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with, difficult births, pregnancy loss, or any unexpected outcomes.
It takes incredible emotional intelligence and resilience
Yes.
to navigate those complexities. I would imagine even having like a strong support system outside of work,
100%.
whether it's friends, family, even a therapist is crucial, I would say,
Yes.
for processing those intense emotions and avoiding burnout.
Self-care is not selfish,
Not at all.
especially in a profession as demanding as this one.
Okay, are you ready to tackle some frequently asked questions
Hit me with them.
about this career path?
Let's do it.
I bet we have listeners out there who are eager for more information.
I'm sure we do.
What's the first question on our list?
Well, the most common one we see is, what exactly is role of a maternity support worker?
Fundamental question,
Yeah.
and a great place to start because people want that clear picture of what this career actually entails. How does RoleCatcher define it?
They describe maternity support workers as integral members of the nursing and midwifery team
Okay.
who really collaborate to provide this holistic care to women during pregnancy, childbirth, and even that postpartum period.
Mm-hmm.
They really emphasize the importance of emotional support,
Mm-hmm.
practical guidance,
Yeah.
and creating a safe and nurturing environment for both the mothers and those newborns.
It's about recognizing that every birth is unique.
Yes,
Every family has different needs.
of course.
And every woman deserves that compassionate and individualized care.
100%. And that naturally leads to the next most frequently asked question.
Okay.
What are the responsibilities of a maternity support worker?
Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does a typical day look like for someone in this role?
Well, there's no such thing as a typical day in maternity care,
That's true.
but the guide does outline a wide range of responsibilities.
Okay.
Assisting midwives during both antenatal and postnatal appointments is a big one.
Okay.
They also provide that emotional support and practical advice to women and their families throughout their entire journey.
So it's a hands-on role
Harry.
that combines medical knowledge with genuine empathy.
Yes.
You're not just taking blood pressure and checking for a heartbeat.
Right.
You are holding a woman's hand
Yes.
as she navigates this crazy emotional roller coaster of pregnancy and new motherhood.
And we can't forget about the practical stuff, too.
Right, of course.
Maternity support workers assist with preparing and maintaining equipment and supplies,
Okay,
making sure everything is clean, sterilized, and ready to go when needed.
of course.
They're also involved in educating new mothers on everything from breastfeeding techniques to newborn care basics.
So it's about empowering women with the knowledge and the confidence they need to take care of their newborns and navigate those challenges of parenthood.
You got it. And of course, meticulous record keeping is crucial
Yes.
for ensuring that continuity of care and providing a comprehensive record
Right.
of that mother and baby's health journey.
It's about connecting the dots, ensuring that everybody involved in that care is on the same page and working towards those best possible outcomes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the qualifications needed to actually become a maternity support worker.
Okay.
What does it take to get your foot in the door?
So the guide highlights that a high school diploma or equivalent is usually the minimum requirement.
Okay.
But many aspiring maternity support workers choose to pursue more specialized training programs.
That makes sense. Specialized training demonstrates your commitment to the field
Yep.
and really equips you, I would imagine, with those practical skills and the theoretical knowledge that you need to actually excel in this role.
100%. And beyond formal education, there's a strong emphasis on those soft skills that we've talked about.
Right.
Communication, empathy, a genuine passion for maternity care.
You can't learn those from a textbook. You either have it or you don't.
Exactly. But those soft skills combined with a solid understanding of medical terminology and procedures will set you apart from the crowd.
Okay, so let's say you've got the passion, you've got the education,
Yeah.
you're ready to embark on this journey.
Okay.
What are the practical steps involved in pursuing this as a career?
So RoleCatcher provides this really clear roadmap.
Okay.
First and foremost, research and enroll in a reputable maternity support worker training program.
Got it.
These programs are designed to really equip you with the knowledge, the skills, and the clinical experience you need
Yeah.
to hit the ground running.
It's like boot camp for all things maternity care.
Exactly. And once you've completed your training, gaining real-world experience through volunteer work
Okay.
or working in a related healthcare setting is invaluable.
It's about putting those newly acquired skills into practice, building your network, learning from those more experienced professionals in the field.
Exactly. And once you feel confident and ready to take the plunge,
Yep.
start applying for those entry-level positions.
Got it.
Hospitals, birthing centers, community health clinics are all potential employers.
It's about putting yourself out there, networking, and showcasing that passion and that dedication.
Exactly. And let's not forget about continuous professional development.
Right, of course.
Attending conferences, workshops, pursuing those additional certifications
Right.
will keep you up to date with the latest advancements and best practices.
Healthcare is constantly evolving.
Always.
So that commitment to lifelong learning is essential
100%.
for providing the best possible care.
For sure.
Okay, for those who are wondering what a typical work environment looks like,
Yeah.
for a maternity support worker, let's lift the curtain a little bit. Give them a glimpse behind the scenes. What's the vibe like?
So imagine a place where the air crackles with anticipation,
Okay.
and every single day brings new surprises.
I love it.
You're surrounded by the sounds of new life,
Ah,
the laughter of families, and the gentle hum of medical equipment.
it sounds like a sensory symphony.
It's a blend of those really heartwarming moments, but also those high-stakes situations.
And it's very dynamic. You're constantly on your toes,
Yeah.
adapting to new situations, responding to the unpredictable nature of labor and delivery.
And that unpredictability can be a challenge in itself.
For sure.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay.
the challenges faced by maternity support workers.
You're right. It's not all sunshine and baby smiles.
Right.
This role requires a certain level of emotional resilience,
Okay.
especially when you're dealing with, high-stress situations, medical emergencies,
Yeah.
or supporting families through, really difficult outcomes.
It's about being that calming presence in the midst of all the chaos.
Yes.
That reassuring voice when fear kind of starts to take hold, and that compassionate shoulder to lean on when things don't go according to plan.
You've hit the nail on the head.
And let's not forget those physical demands.
Yes, of course.
You're on your feet a lot, you're assisting with patients, often working those long and irregular hours. It can be physically and emotionally taxing.
For sure.
It requires stamina flexibility
Yeah.
and an unwavering commitment to the well-being of those mothers and newborns.
But I imagine, despite those challenges, that the rewards can be immeasurable.
Oh, absolutely.
There's something so magical about being a part of such a transformative experience,
Yeah.
about witnessing that bond between a mother and her newborn,
It's very special.
and knowing that you played a role, however big or small, in making that moment possible.
Exactly. And that sense of purpose, that feeling of making a real difference
Yeah.
is what draws so many people to this line of work.
I bet. Okay, speaking of rewarding, let's talk about the career outlook for those aspiring maternity support workers out there.
Okay.
What does the future hold?
Well, the good news is that the demand for skilled and compassionate maternity support workers is on the rise.
Good.
And the guide attributes this to a few different factors.
Such as give us the inside scoop.
Well, for starters, the global population is aging, which means more people are requiring healthcare services,
Okay, that makes sense.
including maternity care.
People are living longer, healthier lives, which means more women are choosing to start families later in life.
Exactly. And that often means an increased need for specialized care and support
Right.
during pregnancy and childbirth.
Absolutely. Are there any other factors contributing to this, positive job outlook?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a growing emphasis on patient-centered care within the healthcare industry as a whole.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's about recognizing that every patient is unique
Right.
with their own individual needs and preferences.
And maternity support workers are so uniquely positioned to provide that personalized touch,
Exactly.
offering that emotional support, the practical advice, a listening ear
100%.
to these women and their families.
It's about going beyond the medical charts and treating each patient as a whole person.
Yes, and I love that. And lastly,
And lastly, there's a growing awareness of the importance of mental health, particularly during pregnancy and that postpartum period.
that's so important. Pregnancy and childbirth can be so emotionally challenging
It can be.
for a lot of women, and having access to that compassionate support can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And maternity support workers are often on the front lines of providing that support,
Yeah.
recognizing signs of postpartum depression or anxiety, and really connecting women with the resources they need.
It's about being that advocate, that listening ear,
Yes.
that reassuring presence during a time when women might feel really overwhelmed or alone.
You said it perfectly. And
Yeah.
before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's just address one last question that comes up quite often.
Yeah, go for it. I'm ready for more.
Okay, so this one's for those who are looking to connect with others in the field.
Okay.
Are there any professional organizations or associations for maternity support workers?
That's a great question, because networking with fellow professionals is so valuable for staying informed, accessing resources, feeling part of that supportive community. What's the answer?
The answer is a resounding yes.
Amazing.
There are several fantastic organizations out there,
Right.
each with their own unique focus and offerings.
Can you give us a couple of examples?
Of course, the Association of Maternity Support Workers is a great place to start.
Okay.
They offer a wealth of resources, networking opportunities, continuing education options.
Love that.
And for those who are interested in the global perspective,
Okay.
the International Confederation of Midwives also recognizes the invaluable contributions of maternity support workers.
That's fantastic to know that those organizations are out there,
Yeah.
supporting those who dedicate their careers to caring for mothers and their newborns. And with that, I think it's time to take a quick breather.
Okay.
But don't change that dial, listeners. We will be right back. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of maternity support workers. We've covered so much ground already. We talked about the responsibilities, the challenges, the career path, even those like really important soft skills that you can't learn from a textbook.
Right.
We've really painted a comprehensive picture of what it takes to thrive in this role. But there's one thing that we haven't really explored yet, and that is specializations within the field.
Yes.
Because believe it or not, there's even more to discover within this already diverse role.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've got my attention. I always thought of like maternity support worker as like this one defined role. Tell me more about these specializations.
Yeah, it's a common misconception.
Okay.
While those core skills and that, fundamental passion for supporting mothers and newborns, like that remains consistent.
Right.
Maternity support workers can choose to focus their expertise on specific areas of maternity care.
So it's about finding your niche,
Yeah.
that area where your passion and your skills really align to make the biggest impact. What are some examples of these specializations?
So one pathway that comes to mind immediately is lactation consulting.
Ah, yes, the breastfeeding gurus. Helping those new mothers navigate those early days of latching milk supply, all things lactation.
Lactation consultants are like the breastfeeding superheroes.
Yes.
They're there to provide that expert guidance, troubleshoot any challenges that might come up, and really offer unwavering support to mothers who choose to breastfeed.
That's so important because breastfeeding can be such a rewarding experience.
It is.
But it can also be really, really challenging,
Yeah.
especially during those early weeks.
Those first few weeks are tough.
And having access to a knowledgeable and compassionate lactation consultant, I feel like can make all the difference.
And it's not just about the technical aspects of breastfeeding.
Okay.
Lactation consultants also provide emotional support and encouragement,
Yeah.
and really help mothers to kind of overcome any self-doubt and navigate those societal pressures
Right.
that can sometimes make breastfeeding feel really overwhelming.
It's about empowering women to make informed decisions about how they choose to nourish their babies.
Yes.
And providing them with the support and the resources that they need to succeed however they define success.
Perfectly said. And speaking of empowering families through education, another specialization that I think is really fascinating is becoming a childbirth educator.
Ah, yes, the masters of all things pregnancy and labor,
Exactly.
guiding those expectant parents through the physical and emotional roller coaster of bringing new life into the world.
Precisely, childbirth educators are like pregnancy gurus.
Love it.
They equip expectant parents with the knowledge, the tools, and the confidence they need to navigate every single step of the way.
Wow.
From prenatal exercises and pain management techniques to newborn care basics and even postpartum recovery.
It's about like demystifying the process, replacing that fear with knowledge.
Yes.
And helping those expectant parents feel prepared and empowered as they embark on this journey.
100%. And it's not just about the parents either.
Right. I was just thinking that like childbirth education, I imagine, also touches upon like the role of partners and support systems as well.
You're absolutely right. Childbirth education is often a family affair.
Yeah.
It's about helping partners understand how they can best support the birthing person,
Right.
and even providing siblings to be with, age-appropriate information
Yes.
about the new arrival.
It's about creating that family-centered approach to pregnancy, to birth, and to those early days of parenthood. Okay, so we've talked about lactation consultants.
Yep.
We've talked about childbirth educators. What other specializations are out there?
So some maternity support workers choose to really focus on specific populations within maternity care.
Okay.
For example, some might specialize in caring for high-risk pregnancies,
Okay.
working with teenage mothers,
Mm-hmm.
supporting LGBTQ plus families, or assisting with adoptions.
That's incredible. It's about recognizing that these unique needs and experiences of these diverse families
Yes.
and making sure that everyone receives that culturally sensitive and inclusive care.
100%. And it really highlights the beauty of this career path.
Yeah.
There's truly a niche for everyone,
I love that.
a place where your skills, your passions, and your desire to make a difference can really shine.
That's a great note to end on.
Yes.
But before we wrap up our deep dive, I'd love to hear any final thoughts that you might have for our listeners.
We've covered so much in this episode.
We have.
But I think the biggest takeaway, the one thing that ties all of these specializations, all of these career paths together is that, at its core, a career in maternity support is about answering a calling. It's about being drawn to this incredible, messy, beautiful, and transformative experience of bringing new life into the world.
Yes.
It's about wanting to make a difference, one family, one birth, one tiny human at a time.
Beautifully said. And for anyone out there who's feeling that call, that pull toward this career that's both challenging but also incredibly rewarding, I encourage you to check out RoleCatcher's platform.
Yes.
Explore the resources that they have available.
They have a ton of information
About becoming a maternity support worker, including training programs, certifications, even tips for connecting with potential employers.
Yes.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
This has been fun.
But the journey doesn't have to stop here. We encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, keep listening to those inner whispers.
Yes.
That might just lead you to your calling.
Thanks for joining us.